Our speaker tonight is Rob Boston, a journalist and secular activist who joined Americans United for Separation of Church and State 35 years ago. From this vantage point, Rob has seen a lot, the evolution of America's leading secularist organizations. Rob has written 4 books. Rob has appeared regularly as a media spokesman for AU and Secular Americans, and now serves as the senior advisor to AU Fun Facts. And once, after an appearance on Fox News, an irate viewer emailed him and accused him of wearing a bad toupee. He assures us that his hair is real, but probably does need a cut. Without further ado, it's my honor to introduce our speaker this evening, Rob Boston.
Bob, I don't know enough about humanism to know whether humanists are atheists or agnostics or what.
Well, okay. I'm going to speak to you wearing my hat as a member of the board of the American Humanists Association, not Americans United, because Americans United is a diverse organization of people of faith and people of no faith. So my understanding of humanism is that while it does reject the existence of God and supernatural beings, it then goes on to posit a system of ethics. So to me, the attraction of humanism is that it doesn't just say there's no God. It then puts forth the question, therefore what? How are we to behave? What is the source of our ethics? How are we to treat one another? You know, you can be an atheist and you can be a fascist or a racist or a bigot, but I don't believe you can be a humanist and be any of those things because they are in conflict with humanist values. So atheism to me was an interesting first step, but I needed more. And that's where humanism came in for me.
I have a personal question. It's a 2-part. One, growing up, how did you get to where you are now, spiritually or not spiritually? And then number 2, which is probably a stupid question, but I sometimes ask curious things. Do you believe you yourself in a soul?
Well, I think most of you know that I am a humanist. I serve on the board of the American Humanists Association. I've been on that board. It's longest serving member. I've been on there, I think, about 11 years. I just turned 60 years old last month, and about age 17 is when I started to have doubts about the Catholic faith that I had been raised in Western Pennsylvania, in a large Irish Catholic family. I can't really pinpoint why those doubts started to occur, but I do know from talking to a lot of people over the years who have been on a similar journey that they tell me that the teenage years are often the genesis of their own religious skepticism and doubt for whatever reason. Like a lot of people, when I started to doubt the faith that I had been raised in, I wondered if maybe some of the other ones had something to offer. So I looked at some of those and did my reading and study and kind of realized that all of them seemed wanting to me. And it took me a few years to figure out, to learn what humanism was and to realize that that's where I belong. I did find my way there eventually. My wife is Unitarian, and we have 2 daughters who are grown and out of the house, and they attended Unitarian services and went to RE. If any of you are Unitarians, you know about RE. We tried to raise them with the spirit of open inquiry and the right to question these things and make up their own minds about these questions. And I think we've succeeded. Second question about soul. You know, I'm a writer and I'm an editor, so I always go back to what did you mean by that word? If you're talking about the traditional religious understanding of a soul, that is a thing that resides within your body that flees your body upon death and goes up to heaven or hell to be judged. And no, I don't believe in that. If you mean it in a metaphorical sense, which a lot of people do, or even some of the other definitions that are applied to it.
I mean, when you died, you feel that you continue?
No.
That's all.
No, I don't.
Thank you.
Now, interestingly, in one possible way, I've been reading recently about some states have approved a form of burial called human composting. Your body is turned into soil, which is then used to nourish a living thing like a tree or a plant of some kind. I think that's a really awesome way to go. And although you're obviously dead, what you've left behind is nourishing something else and sort of carrying you forward in that way. So that's kind of interesting. Not a soul, but a nice way to go.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.